Good evening, everybody. This is Joe Larson and Chuck Schultz, and welcome to the 505 on Racing Show. Another Monday night of race talk. A lot of, I guess, history was made this weekend.
Yeah.
Technically, we'll talk about that a little bit, and we're going to talk about Auto Club Speedway and what went on there with the racing. The NASCAR Whelen Modified Series opened up at Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, and the 2020 inductees to the NASCAR Hall of Fame were announced. A kind of different group, there's some drivers, some owners, some crew chiefs, all different series. So we'll talk about that, but moving on. But history was made, supposedly, at the Auto Club Speedway with Kyle Busch.
Right.
200 wins. Now,
somebody was happy. Some people were happy about that. Some people were not happy.
Yeah, I mean, and I broke it down. I kind of looked at, I went to racingreference.com to make a comparison. And Kyle Busch, he's competed for 17 years.
Wow,
he's
has it been that long already?
Yeah, he was just a little kid. It seems
Wow.
like we're getting old.
Well, yeah.
We're getting old.
Time, quick, you know.
Woo. And 17 years, he's still active. He's still active in racing. And he's a young guy. He might have another 10, 12 years to go. You know. But in those 17 years, he had 503 Cup races, and they're starting to change that. They call it the Premier Series now, because it was Cup, and it was Grand National, then it was Winston Cup, and it was Sprint Cup, and Nextel Cup, then Sprint Cup, now Monster Energy, NASCAR Cup. So any references I've seen lately say Premier Series.
Really?
Yeah. So 503 races with 53 wins, that's 10%. That's not a bad little percentage.
Yeah.
But he's also got 348 Xfinity races with 94 wins and 147 truck races with 53 wins, giving him a total of 200 victories.
Total. So not just Cup wins, but 200 victories overall.
Richard Petty, who's the comparison,
right,
he raced 35 years, maybe 5 years too long, because he wasn't doing anything in the last few years. With
riding around
close to 1,200 races, or 1,184 races, with 200 Cup wins, 1 convertible win, and 3 NASCAR West wins. Now let's discuss the differences.
Well,
when Richard Petty ran
Cup races,
that was it. He couldn't race 3 series in a day.
Yeah.
However, he did race sometimes 3 races in a week, but he didn't.
But how many of those races was he like 5 laps up from the second place guy?
Right, exactly. Exactly.
They weren't, nose to tail.
No. And I know what NASCAR is trying to do. NASCAR
trying to create the excitement.
Exactly.
I mean, I said this yesterday as we were watching this race, and of course somebody who did not want Kyle Busch to win, of course, was very upset. But at the same token, I said, you know what? A lot of people didn't like Dale Earnhardt.
Right.
Well, Kyle Busch is a baby. I says, you know what? If you look at some of the old, and don't get me wrong, I liked Dale Earnhardt. I loved him.
Yep.
Some of the old footage, he was kind of a baby himself, too. The guy hit me, I hit him back.
Right.
Did kind of the same stuff. And everybody either booed or cheered, but as long as they were making noise, he was happy.
Right.
Well, it's kind of like, here you're history in the making, you have a new superstar.
Yes, you do. And there's different eras. You look back and look at the early years in NASCAR history. Some of the names that were out there, Marshall Teague, the Tim Infante Flock.
Yeah.
And those guys in the 50s. Then the 60s came along, and you had
They dominated
Richard Petty
these people,
and David Pearson. And
Cale Yarborough.
Yeah, and then Winston came in, through R.J. Reynolds, and there was a whole different group of guys.
The Allisons.
The Allisons, Darrell Waltrip, guys of that nature. And now you have these guys who've come up, some through the ranks, some not through the ranks, but you're comparing apples to lemons. When you try to make a comparison that Kyle Busch is compared to Richard
Petty or Dale Earnhardt or whatever the case may be.
I don't grant it. The guy's raced the races. He's a young guy. He's still out there. But it was something that his brother Kurt Busch said at the end of the race. He goes, "I don't know how much longer my brother could do this." racing these tracks 3 days in a row takes a toll on your body. That's why Jeff Gordon got out. His back was mangled. Mark Martin, he raced way too long. He actually, if you walk behind him, his legs are here and his shoulders are here. He's had so many back surgeries. Even Jerry Cook, 6-time national champion in the modified series, he could barely walk because of the rough and tumbleness that he went through racing. You know, those guys raced whenever they could, wherever they could. And I'm going to say
well, they were
this,
racing for a living like these guys are, too.
That's how they fed their family, these guys, and racing for a living.
It wasn't easy. Yeah, and, you know, there's no doubt he's taking a beating. He's really pushing himself. So what has he got, 20 years? But he's already got 17
17 under his belt, 17 under his belt. And will he reach 100 wins? I don't think so.
100 wins, you're thinking?
In the Cup Series, or the
Series.
Premier Series, as it's being called. I don't think. Jeff Gordon didn't make 100. Dale Earnhardt, even though his career was cut short by that untimely death back in 2001, but those are the guys that were premier during their era. It's tough to win. It's tough to win today.
It is.
And it goes in cycles.
The cars are so close. I mean, it's anybody's game. It really is.
And right now, with 36, 37, 38 teams showing up every week, with the charter teams, they're automatically in, so it's not a struggle to get in. And with the free pass, all right, so I'm starting in the back. If I get lapped, I'm going to get that lap back later.
Right, yeah, the lucky dog thing. And
I know why they
a lot of stuff that because, you know, people are getting lapped.
Creating an interest in the races, and you'll never have a guy like Richard Petty winning and the second place guy 5 laps down. You'll never see that again. You'll never see that again. NASCAR won't allow it. And I can remember competition yellows when I was working in the tower at some of the races. And I remember Mike Helton elbowing me. We need a caution. Yeah. Joe, we need a caution. Yeah. All of a sudden, he hits the button, flagman puts the yellow flag out. We got debris in 2. We do.
Well, I mean, it's he's putting on a show.
That's what he told me during the commercial break, because I could see what was being broadcast on TV, and every once in a while they showed a control tower. And he said that to me on break when the commercial, and he goes, all we're doing is putting on a show, and the commercials pay for it.
Yeah.
We got to have commercials, so we got to have cautions.
Well, that's ultimately, you know, but I'm the show.
Yeah.
You know, so part of the problem there is that the competitors, they want to win. And, you know, of course, they want to win real, you know, but they're putting on a show.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing? And it's not WWE by far. But.
No, it's not. It's not. And I know with the new management that's here in NASCAR today, ever since Brian France decided to spend the weekend on Long Island instead of be at the race in Pennsylvania, they're starting to make some changes and make some moves to bring racing back to what it was and what it could be and what it should be. You know, put the race back in the hands of the drivers, and you know, and let them drive the cars. These cars drive themselves today.
There's been so much talk about this, you know, and what do we do to get that back in the hands of the drivers and take the restrictor plates off and let them run 300 miles an hour?
Yeah, no restrictor plates.
And they get sideways, and it's like throwing a piece of paper in a windstorm.
Yeah, it
You know.
really is. You know, but you know, you look at that, and you know, like yourself and myself, I've been following this racing thing since the mid '60s. Catching a glimpse every once in a while on Wide World of Sports on Channel 7. They showed the opening laps, they showed the crashes, and they showed maybe the last 15, 20.
With the flag, yeah.
With the flag. And you know what? Wow, this is exciting. Who knew it was a 4-hour event that they condensed to like 20 minutes?
It's a day. It's a day. It's a whole day.
Oh, yeah.
If you watch race day, it's a whole day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you get up in the morning, you have breakfast, and there's, you know, race day today, whatever, and then there's this other thing, and then there's this other thing, and then there's pre-race.
Honestly, if it was a Daytona 500, I would say, all right, let's do a whole thing. Let's do a whole day.
Right.
You got your race day, you got your pre-race, you got your pre-race day, you got your race day, you got your after-race day, and then you got your race for 9 hours.
Right.
You know, and you do the Daytona 500. But
Right.
it's a whole day. It's a 3-4, and you know what? If you TiVo the thing and you zip through the commercials, all right, so it's a little bit better. You might fall asleep for, I don't know, 200 or 300 laps in the middle, and hopefully wake up to catch the flag at the end. Come on, I know. There's a lot of open mouths out there drooling, waiting for the race to come and checking flag for the last 20. Now, what happens is you set the TiVo for an extra hour, and guess what? It ain't long enough. You're like 5 or 10 laps short because, you know, it goes into overtime, and the extra hour wasn't enough because the crashes were through the roof.
Then there's a red flag situation, and forget it.
And then you don't catch the end of the race anyway.
Right.
I mean, talk about your product. That's hard to do. And what do you do? What do you do? Heat races? Run some heat races, 130-lap feature, you're done.
Yeah. I mean, they're talking about qualifying. Qualifying is a joke. And how some guys pretended to go out, but they didn't go out, and who's sitting on pit road because they do that in the Premier Series. They go out, and you know, you got to be the top 20 fastest to get into the next round, and the top 12, and so guys, nobody wants to go on a cold racetrack, so they're all sitting there waiting, and surely, you know, I'm sure they draw straws in the back for the back markers. I listen, you go first, so we have a hard track to go on, but. NASCAR realizes that the way they do qualifying is not working.
Time trials.
Yeah, and they don't want to go to single car qualifying because that takes forever, especially on the bigger track. So
it's a day.
Yeah.
It's another day. I mean, you know, and if you go into the race, it's a, you know, it's a 4-day event. I mean, you know, and it's a party thing. You know, I get it.
Oh yeah.
But
you know, I'm going to the July race at Daytona, and of course it's at nighttime. But you know you have to be there like at 8 in the morning.
Oh, at least.
To go, you know.
If you're driving in, you got to be there at least at 8.
You know, and you're lucky
I
to
mean, in
find
Pocono,
a place.
we started parking cars at 6 o'clock in the morning. They started showing up.
The first time I went to Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania, in the Pocono Mountains, the first time I went, I was the race director at Riverhead Raceway here in Long Island. And I got out of Riverhead at 1 a.m. We went home, showered, changed. The car was already loaded for Pocono. We got there about 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. They weren't ready for cars yet. So I parked by the gate, and we went to sleep. All of a sudden, I get
Half hour later, you wake up, and it's like a
they're
million
knocking on my window. You can't park here, sir.
That was probably me. Because we used to I used to fill up a van and go with a contingency, my crew, my team. We'd go to Pocono, we'd work at the racetrack for the weekend. Yeah. And, you know, I had 2 helicopters flying over telling me where I could park cars. I had radios. We had 2 ways going. I got room over here for 3 more cars. I had an old lady going to church. They close everything down. Everything goes to the track on Sunday.
Yep.
Old lady going to church. How do I get out of here? I got to go to church. I said, well, you're not going to the church until after the race is over.
Yeah.
18-wheelers, everything went to the track.
Yep. Yeah, the guy knocked on my window and said, you can't park here. I said, all right, when you're opening the gate, you're blocking it, so.
It's open. Yeah, 6 o'clock in the morning, it's open.
So I tried to park near the gate so I can get out easier, and they wouldn't let me. It made me, you know.
All the way to the back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Start in the back, work your way forward.
But that's, you know, it's a whole different ballgame. But you know what? Congratulations to Kyle Busch on
it's a milestone. It's something,
200 wins.
I'm curious. I would like to see if they took one race and did heat races.
Yeah.
Heat races, 1 50-lap feature.
Like Martinsville or Bristol.
Yeah. 2 heat races, 1 50-lap feature.
Yeah,
let's be done with this.
Based on points.
Give it a shot.
And the guy first in points starts in the back.
Right. They line you up on points, but you're still running a heat race. And they'll put a consi out there, too. I'd get a kick out of the consi. Yeah. The consi is the best part.
Oh, yeah. And you know, you look at social media, everybody's complaining about, you know, he's not a true guy, 200 wins.
Who's not a true guy?
You know, Kyle Busch.
Well, yeah.
And then they're talking, oh, this other guy has, 3,000 wins, undocumented. And I made a comment on one of the threads that was going on. I said, Brett Hearn has over 900 wins on dirt that are documented. And then they went to a bunch of other guys that, because these dirt guys, they run 5-6 times a week, like for like 11 months out of the year.
Yeah.
And those wins are documented. But these guys, they run this short track, this short track, this short track. It's not documented. And yeah, okay, I got 2,000 wins. Oh, good. Where? Oh, I don't know.
Somewhere.
The tracks I raced.
The tracks that I raced, yeah, exactly.
You know, so who knows? Anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be talking about, what are we talking about when we come back? What's the next thing on my list here? Oh, yeah. Auto Club Speedway. The results at Auto Club Speedway for the top 3 series of NASCAR when we come back.
Hey, I said was going to say what's up for some reason. Hey, we're Set It Up, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE, your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hi there, this is Buddy from Less Than Jake, and you are listening to Inravio TV. You're probably watching it too.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Commercials go so fast sometimes.
They do, right?
They do, you know. Yeah.
Well, we try to keep them short and sweet, so.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
No 10-minute commercial breaks like the networks.
No.
We keep them short and sweet.
No. And we don't have that little, like, picture-in-picture thing like they do in the races now.
Oh, jeez.
You know, because, you know, they don't want to miss a crash, because a lot of people just watch what crashes.
But come on, who wants to watch a little tiny picture while you're listening to a commercial anyway, really?
Exactly.
I buzz through those, too.
Yeah. You know, put it on commercial free. NASCAR's got the money. Maybe they should filter some our way.
Do you think? They got more money. They got way too much money.
Auto Club Speedway out in California. You know, it's funny. As you know, my cousin Freddie Kraft is a spotter for Bubba Wallace.
Yeah.
And Freddie, when he got onto the roof, I guess for one of the practice sessions, he took a picture of the mountains, which you normally can't see because of the California smog. It was so windy, you could see the mountains. And he had mentioned that. But anyway, the Truck Series ran this weekend as well. I believe we have the results up there. They should be coming up shortly. And, you know, I'm still trying to figure out when they changed it to the Gander Truck Series. No, they didn't. They didn't run.
They didn't run?
Oh, my error. They're running in Martinsville next week. Sorry, folks.
Right.
The Xfinity Series ran this weekend at the Auto Club Speedway. That we have. All right. The winner today was Cole Custer. Kyle Busch was second. He would have had his 200 win in that race if he he got a pit road speeding penalty. Otherwise, he would have been the winner there.
Really?
Yeah. Christopher Bell was third. Tyler Reddick was fourth. Chase Briscoe fifth. Austin Cedric was sixth. Brandon Jones seventh. Ryan Preece had an eighth place finish. Justin Algaya ninth, and Justin Haley rounded out the top 10 there.
You would think of all people, he would have known better.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. Not that it was funny, but they had an in-car camera. It's in all the cars. But when he went down Pedro exit, because they had him for exiting too fast, and it was the last two boxes.
Okay.
He was at the right RPMs, and he didn't smoke his tires coming out. I really think that, not that NASCAR manipulates outcomes.
They wanted the 200.
They wanted the 200 in the Premier Series. Just my opinion.
Sorry, the Premier Series.
Premier Series, as it's being called today. And I watched that, and even the announcer said something that, you know, his RPMs didn't change from the time he left his pit box to the time he hit that last box where he could go. And they made a comment. It was like, it sounds like the RPMs were the same, and how could they say this is where his penalty was?
He sped up at the last couple
which
boxes.
he did not do. But he took his penalty like the true professional that he has become.
As you get older, things happen.
You know, and
sometimes not for the best.
Yes, not sometimes. And he was right there at the end. He could have took that win. But I'm telling you, I'm sure that if he would have won that race, they would have found a way, because there's that new rule now. If you're illegal in post-race tech, they take it away.
Yeah.
Big Bill France will be rolling in his grave, because he said with the first race, he said, when our fans leave the racetrack, they need to know who won that race. We can't be making changes.
Right.
And now they're going to make changes. I want to see how that works when one of the big boys, you know, one of their favorites, kind of get nailed.
Yeah.
Because, you know, last year it was like every week there was somebody, we'll find them, you know, $100,000. And where did that money go? Didn't trickle down to the weekly series, you know, or the
Inravio series.
Or the radio show, which would be nice, you know. But yeah, it would be nice. But yeah, it's interesting. And we all know that.
Curious to see what they're going to do. I mean, they're making some changes, but
they're making some changes.
Curious to see what they're going to do to try to make it more.
And changes are tough.
A lot of time to watch a race.
Changes, and if they're changing rules in the middle, how do you change rules in the? It's not even the middle of the season.
They do it.
Yeah, they can.
They do it all the time.
Can you imagine being a Cup owner and you have like 8 cars built and they make a rule change? Because they don't have just 1 or 2 cars. They have the top teams. You know,
they got cars ready for the next 4 or 5 races, which is, you know, it's 8 or 10 cars. I mean, 2 cars go to every race, right?
Back a few years ago, and Jack Roush moved into his new shop at the time where he is today, I was on a self-guided tour. And I went into Mark Martin was driving from at the time, and I can't remember who was in the 16 car, but they had cars in different parts of the shop in different steps of the way. Some were done.
Different stages.
Different stages, and some were done. Some needed paint. Some needed decals. Some were waiting for the engine to go. I mean,
it was like an assembly line.
Oh yeah, and it
go
wasn't
from
like,
this spot to that spot to this spot.
Like Bobby Allison when he pulled into Ice Speedway back in '67 with his car on an open trailer, mangled from some race 2 nights before, and the first thing he said to Bob O'Rourke, he says, "Where's the nearest junkyard? I need parts." He worked in the sand and in the parking lot getting the car ready until they opened the pit gates. Those days are done. I'm not thinking these young kids that are driving these top 3 series race vehicles are climbing underneath it in the shop working on it. I'm not thinking.
No. The last time they worked on it, it had a plastic steering wheel.
Yeah.
And they were in their living room.
Yeah.
That's the last time they were driving a race car.
Yeah. On a little like computer simulator. Because now you can get those with the racing seat, the pedals, and the sound in your ears, and a fan blowing to make it.
Really, a fan blowing?
A fan blows.
Hot air.
What store?
A fan blowing hot air at you.
On a racetrack, it's blowing air on you, and you get the feel that you're in a race car, and the seat bounces a little bit.
Wait, cool. I got it. So what we need to do is we need to come up with these different fragrances for different racetracks.
Yes.
Racing fragrances, right? That goes in like the automatic sprayer, like you put in your bathroom.
Like if you spin out, you smell rubber.
Yeah, like every 6 seconds, you go.
Yeah.
Right. If you burn the rubber one sprays.
Yeah.
So you smell the rubber burn.
Smell the rubber.
Oh, that would be hysterical.
Or if you blow your motor.
You blow your motor, you get a shot of oil in the face. A shot of hot oil in the face.
You know, behind every joke, there's a little bit of seriousness.
You know what? Hey,
maybe we're in the wrong business. Maybe we should, like, have infomercials on these fragrance smells for racing.
We should be in the feel-around business.
Yeah. Cam 2 smell.
Cam 2 smell, tire smell. That's it. So it'll be like a printer. You put the cartridge in, and when your tire smell is up, you got to replace the whole thing. So you can't get the Cam 2 smell out. You got to replace the whole cartridge. It's this big-ass cartridge like this.
Yeah.
$400.
Yep. And because you have to make it so they have to keep buying stuff. Because if you make it so it lasts forever.
Well, it's spray. So once you run out, you got to get more.
And if you spin out a lot,
keep loading it. You spin out a lot. You need more tire smell.
Get another can of tire smell.
We can do that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We can do that. They make cans of smoke too. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you win the race, you get to smell like champagne or wine or something.
There you go. We can get a can and spray some champagne on you.
You know, that's something to think about. There's really something to think about. Man. Anyway, the Monster Energy NASCAR
I need a piece of paper so I can start writing this stuff down.
Was also at the Autoclose Speedway this past weekend, where, as we talked about, Kyle Busch got his 200th ring. Now, I got to tell you, did you see that flag?
Yeah.
It already had 200 on it for him.
Oh, they knew it was coming.
No.
Just when?
As I know when
Hey, how many I just won a Super Bowl hats are in the dumpster somewhere?
How many I had to throw away?
But they don't throw them away, they burn them.
Oh, they burn them?
Oh, they don't want them to show up somewhere.
I'm not thinking of.
Could you imagine?
Yeah. And the T-shirts. Yeah. But, you know, it said 200 on it. What if I guess they would have used it next week if he won.
Yeah. Sooner or later he's going to make it.
Yeah, because he couldn't win that in the Xfinity race. They didn't want that flag there. They wanted it in the big race.
It probably says Xfinity.
Yeah. Imagine.
It's got his car number and his logo on it.
It does.
Yeah. So he couldn't have won it in the Xfinity race.
Unless I had a flag ready for that. Because I know when I was with the Modified Tour and the trophy, that big trophy thing, and sometimes there was 3 drivers that had a shot at it. They wouldn't put the champion plate. They would.
Right. 3
different plates would come, so it looked like we had it.
Yeah. And there's a guy in the back with a little tiny nail hammer with the little nails nailing it on. Pop, 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 pop.
Definitely. But anyway, let's go back to those results. Kyle Busch was winning. Joey Logano was second. Brad Keselowski was third. Kevin Harvick fourth. Brian Blaney fifth. Kurt Busch, the brother of Kyle Busch, sixth. Denny Hamlin seventh. Martin Truex Jr. eighth. Eric Almirola ninth. And Austin Dillon rounding out the top 10. Nice little racetrack. They said there was a good crowd, but when the camera angles I saw, it didn't look like a good crowd.
There's 10 people sitting together.
Yeah, and so this is what I do. When I watch a race like that on TV and I see a lot of empty seats, I go on and try to buy tickets. And sometimes you can get into to the website and you see it's pretty much sold out. It's like people aren't showing up. Well, they're realizing that it's a better race from the hotel, or maybe they're so hammered from being at the track at 7 in the morning.
Or sunburnt because they were there for 4
Yeah,
days
because they were out all day.
Had that happen. I was so sunburnt one time, we wound up in the van
Really?
on the front straightaway, yeah.
Yeah, nah, see.
Yeah, all those, we were shot. We were there for the whole week.
It's a, and people who've never gone to a premier event don't understand, like, it's like a carnival atmosphere outside the racetrack, in the midway, and all the haulers selling their stuff, and then...
And you get there early, and there's plenty to do.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
before the race.
Yep. And a lot of giveaway stuff that they give you, and you know, it's a day, it's an event.
And if you're on the infield in a camper, that's a party atmosphere there, things are going on.
It's incredible. I can remember my first Cup Premier race that I attended, and it was at Pocono, and I was on the infield, and Bobby Sada, you remember Bobby Sada?
I remember
raced,
Bobby,
Chargers and late models here
I
on Long
raced with
Island.
Bobby Sada, yeah.
Him and his wife were working for Roush, with Johnny Benson driving the car. So I get to spend some time with them, and I actually got to sit on the pit box and watch some of the race. But I saw people in the infield that if you asked them where they were, they had no clue.
No.
Because they were partying all weekend.
Different story. I would get calls on the radio when I was working at Pocono. Is a topless girl on the infield, somebody want to take care of that? I'm like, we got a problem on the infield, they tell me. I'm like, what's the problem? They're partying. You know,
that's what they
she's
do.
up on the camper and, you know, dancing and the whole thing, and that's what they do.
Nah.
Infield's a party place.
It is, and they did have a good time.
Yes.
They had a good time. Hey, we got to take a break. These breaks are coming up. You know, I'm actually keeping track. You know.
Of the breaks?
Yeah, like what time we have to break. So.
Okay.
Or
or else we'll just go until 11 o'clock at night.
The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series will be at the Martinsville Speedway this upcoming weekend, as well as the Gander Truck Series. Always a good show. I went to that show for years and years and years. That's a good weekend.
Martinsville, yeah.
Martinsville, it's a good little half mile, and it's a nice place. So when we come back, we're going to talk about the 2020 inductees into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Not inductees, I should say, the nominees for the NASCAR.
For the induction.
For the induction in the NASCAR Hall of Fame when we come back.
Hi, I'm Remington.
I'm Emerson.
And I'm Sebastian.
We're Palais Royale, and you're watching Inravio TV.
There we go.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hey, this is Chris Less Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE, your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hi, this is Mike Jarecki from My Race News, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
So,
And here we are.
here we are, all together.
All together.
Well, not all together, but we're
As
here.
we sing our song Joyfully.
Yes. I remember singing that in church.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
organ playing in the
Yeah.
I do like attend church from time to time.
And sing that song?
A lot of people don't believe me, but I do. I do. I even went to Ash Wednesday.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Do you get the cross? The
Yeah.
cross of Christ?
The place was jam-packed. And I called them, these are the A&P Christians, the people when they go in, they're giving things away, ashes and palms.
Ashes and palms.
I don't know what that has to do about racing, but I raced out of the place because it was jam-packed. But
I thought it was the E&C people. The people that come at Easter and Christmas.
Easter and Christmas, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Anyway,
I'm
NASCAR.
becoming that person.
Oh, yeah? Nah.
I think so, yeah.
I think I'm turning over a new leaf. But anyway, this pneumonia thing scared me a little bit.
Yeah, I'm
You
sure
know?
it did.
Oh, yeah. So I'm not used to being sick. Ooh. But anyway, NASCAR Hall of Fame announced their inductees for the class of 2020. Some surprises, some, okay, whatever. Some guys that should have been in a long time. But Sam Ard, remember Sam Ard? Name sound familiar?
Name does.
He was a competitor in the inaugural years of the Xfinity series when it first started. Back then it was called the Busch series.
When the Busch series started, okay.
And because up till then, it was just Winston Cup. They didn't have all these 3 series in one weekend where
Right.
you could get 100 or 200 victories.
Well, it was Grand National.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Grand National Series.
So Sam
and then they
Ard
broke out the Busch Series because they had another sponsor that wanted to
Yep.
spend money. It's like, well, let's take the money. What are we going to do?
Yeah, let's do it. Buddy Baker, he was a Cup driver from 59 to
Buddy Baker.
92. 19 wins. That guy was like 6'7". They called him the Gentle Giant.
Yeah.
He was a big
Well, he
guy.
passed.
Yeah, he did. Neil Bonnet, Cup driver
Neil
from
Bonnet.
73 to 94. He had 18 wins in the Premier Series.
He was like Neil Bonnet. He was like Kenny.
Yeah. Yep.
Every time he borrowed a car from Earnhardt, he wound over the wall somewhere.
Yeah, he wrecked. And he ended up losing his life in a practice session
Yeah.
at Daytona. Red Farmer, he drove late models and modifieds. He has 700 plus wins in lesser series. In other words, not the top 3.
Not the top 3.
So Red Farmer. Ray Fox, he was an engine
Fox.
builder, owner, official. He did it pretty much all through his NASCAR career. Harry Gant, you all remember Harry
Skull
Gant?
Bandit.
The Skull Bandit, yeah.
33, loved Harry Gant.
13 career victories in the Premier Series from 1973 to 1994. I had run into him in Boots Brewery in Port Orange, sitting at the bar, selling autographed pictures of himself.
Really?
Yeah. I kind of thought that was a little, I don't know. Then we got Joe Gibbs,
Needed gas money to get home.
I guess. Joe Gibbs, Cup owner, still active. He has 4 championships and 5 Xfinity titles. Former coach of the Washington Redskins, Super Bowl champions. This guy seems to win no matter what he does. I don't know why, but we'll talk about Joe Gibbs at the end. John Holman, car owner, 2 championships.
Moody Holman.
Yep. Harry Hyde, Premier
Harry
Series crew chief, who was in that movie Days of Thunder. Not he was in it, but that was kind of based on
him. We're eating ice cream. You can't come in now.
Can't come in. Can't come in. Go hit the pace car. You hit everything else. Bobby Labonte, Cup Xfinity driver, won championship in each series with 21 victories.
Bobby Labonte.
Herschel McGriff.
Also a 22 car.
Yes.
The Maxwell House car.
Yes. That's where he started, yeah, his early years.
Do-do-do-do.
Then he went to, where did he go after that? Was that the Kellogg's car after that?
No, it was
No,
Terry.
there was Interstate Batteries.
Interstate Batteries
with
after
Joe
that.
Gibbs.
He was the first Kyle Busch.
Yes, yes. But Herschel McGriff, the guy's like 90 years old. Really, I think he's 80. He was a driver. He was in the West Series of NASCAR with 37 victories there. Then Ralph Moody of the fame, as you said earlier, Holman Moody.
Holman Moody.
He drove. He was a driver. He was an owner, and he had 2 owner championships in the Cup Series. They have Marvin Pouch. He had 216 starts in the Cup Series with 17 victories. Jim Paschal, he was a driver, and he competed in the very first race, which became the Cup Series, with 25 wins. It was called the Modified Series back then, because they took a street car out of the showroom and modified it. Then Larry Phillips, he was a driver, and he had in assorted NASCAR lesser divisions with 226 documented wins in 308 starts. He won 75% of the races he entered.
Wow.
In the lesser divisions. Mike Stefanik, modified, says 74 wins in 450 starts, 9-time modified champion, tying him with the late Richie Evans.
Wow.
And this is like his 3rd time on the ballot. Let's see if he can get in. Tony Stewart, driver, 3-time champion with 49 wins. Red Voigt. Red Voigt was a mechanic, engine builder, was at original meeting to form NASCAR. So that was good. And Wada
That was back in the day.
Yeah, 1948 that was. Wada Winston is a crew chief and engine builder, built engines for Benny Parsons, David Pearson, when they won their titles. Now, I look at this list, it's a little bit of everything, a hodgepodge of drivers, crew chiefs, mechanics, whatever.
Car owners, car builders.
Yeah.
What about Banjo Matthews? See him yet?
No. But, you know, I look at guys that, like Joe Gibbs, he's still active in that. He's still active, and no disrespect
When you think
to Joe
about it,
Gibbs.
no disrespect to Joe Gibbs, but he's kind of the young kid on the block there.
Without a doubt.
Him, Tony Stewart.
Yep, Tony Stewart, same
Mike
thing.
Stefanik. These are young guys. These are,
I mean, you look at these guys.
I mean, they're kind of, yeah, it's definitely a hodgepodge of people. I mean, you got people that were there when NASCAR was formed.
Yeah.
You know, and then you got Tony Stewart.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he's still walking around the garage and talking to people and playing and owning cars, Stewart Haas Racing. But you know, you look at like Buddy Baker. There's a guy, in my opinion, without a doubt should be in. You know, Ray Fox. He was around. He did everything. He was a builder. He was an owner. Worked for NASCAR.
Everybody you said. Neil Bonnet, Red Fox.
Yeah, you know, Harry Hyde. The guy was a genius at putting race cars together. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, when the voting comes in and they get their rings and their jackets and their shirts and all of that kind of stuff. You know, it'll be interesting to see where that all pans out. And you know, some halls of fame they become watered down after a while.
Yeah.
And what NASCAR did when they formed this and they put the greats of the greats in here in the beginning. But it was a bunch of guys sitting around the table talking it out. And what's happening now is the younger group of people who have these conversations don't know or weren't around for the guys who were at this Streamline Hotel in Daytona on A1A.
Even better, who are the people that are voting on this?
Right.
On the nominations to put them in.
Exactly.
Like the Grammys or whatever awards you could possibly think of.
There should be some kind of criteria for this, and you know, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of putting a guy in who's still active, whether he's active as an owner or whatever, like Joe Gibbs and Tony Stewart. You know, they might have another 10, 15 years that they're going to be in the sport. They might not. They might walk away one day. And at that point...
And how many people do they let in off that list?
Right.
You know, half a dozen?
Right. Yeah.
I would say that would be a good number. I mean, but there's people in there that should have been in already. But you know what? We got plenty of time. They're putting people in every year. They got people that they're putting in every year. Sooner or later, they're going to run out of people.
Right.
Because they're not going to be as many great people as, say, 6, 10, 20, whatever.
I mean, you think 10 years from now, the guys and gals who are putting this together, they'll be in their 30s. They're going to say, Richard Petty who? Oh, the guy who won 200 races. Oh, what does that mean? No, they're going to be, oh, Kyle Busch, he ran 3 series, and let's put him in, even though the guy's still racing. He's on, win number, 195 or something in all the series. And that's still, that number is so marketable because, NASCAR needed to, like you said earlier, create some excitement. But
well, they got to fill the Hall of Fame up. They're running out of exhibits,
They are. And I'll tell you what, I've been to the Hall of Fame, NASCAR Hall of Fame, probably 5 or 6 times. And they're always taking things out, putting things in, taking a car out, putting it back in. I remember Richie Evans' car was there for a while, then it wasn't, then it was back. And our little friend is, that shady, cruddy old video that they showed that was, breaking up and scratchy because the video is taken that they were all sitting outside the hall with a campfire, and they wanted it to look.
They wanted it to look crappy.
But
so he was the man for the job.
Yeah, exactly. But you look at the Hall of Fame in general. There's a lot of nice stuff in there, and if you're ever in Charlotte and you have like a day,
have to go down
there. I've been there so many times, and like I said, there's some stuff that's the same stuff. There's some stuff that's not there the last time I was there, and it's interactive. You can get to do stuff too. Like change a tire, jack up a car, fuel a car. And it's all, once you get in, it's, pay extra for that. So
right.
It's really nice, and you got to go in. And just like right here on Long Island, where we live, the Himes Museum.
I was just about to say, you can go down and see Marty Himes in Bayshore. Click on the link right there on the website, on the show page. It'll take you to the Himes Museum. Give them a call. And
and if you ask nice, he might let you change a tire, pretend you're putting fuel. And and I talked about this the last time. Some of the cars could use some paint and some sprucing up. If you do that, do it as a labor of love for him. He would love to have these cars.
Yeah, give him a call.
Up. Give him a call. He could
use the help.
He loves getting phone calls. He loves getting phone calls. Because don't be the guy that 10 years from now says, I should have went there.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy. You heard it from us.
Time is of the essence.
Yeah.
So don't wait.
You want to go, and
now's a good time. It's the weather's not too you're not out on your boat, so go down there and go to the museum.
And I'm sure there's something that's gonna whoa.
You're not gonna regret it.
No. And
drop the guy at 20 or 50 or something. You know what I mean? He'd try to support the museum.
Exactly.
He's supporting us. He's supporting all the races on the island, and we should support him. That's
and if you have some race memorabilia that is just collecting dust, and your wife or your husband or your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your kids are saying, get rid of that. Don't throw it in the trash. Bring it to Marty. I brought him things sometimes. He had tears in his eyes one time when I brought him that time trial board on the last Federal Tour race before it became the Whelen Modified Tour. And I took it out of the dumpster and put it in my car and took it home. Because they did it, they took the picture, and then all of a sudden somebody took it, and I said, man, they beat me to it. So I thought they went and put it in their car. They threw it in the dumpster. So I went and got it. And it was in dry erase, because you got to erase, because you use the same one every week. And all the scorers, because each team had its own scorer back then, and there was a clock on the flag stand that would just click, and every time your car passed the start finish line, you clicked, you wrote the clock numbers down. And then there was 3 or 4 NASCAR scorers that were just kind of doing rundown laps and keeping track of things so you couldn't cheat and or make a big error. Like Donnie Lee's dad was his scorer. We get his score sheet. I'm the race director. And it's the head scorer, the chief scorer says, we got to talk to Mr. Lee. We got to bring him in. Why, what's the matter? He missed like 40 laps. What do you mean you missed 40 laps? She goes, I was scoring that car, but look at this sheet. And I'm like, and it was numbers all over the place. So I bring him in. I said, "Now, what is this?" He goes, "My son was running up front." And I was getting excited. I missed the numbers. He just forgot to write them down. And this is before transponders and everything.
Yeah.
But, you know, when I got that board home, and I was very careful bringing it home, the next morning I took it and it was in different dry erase, the signatures, people, all the scorers signed it. The numbers were in black, you know, for the times and the car number. So I took a black permanent marker and I just traced over it. Then where they signed it, whatever color they signed, I traced over it. And then I shellacked it after it was all dry. And I brought that to Marty, and he couldn't believe it. He could, a piece of
Nice.
that was history. And he said, one man's junk is my gold. And
Well, I might have some gold for him.
yeah.
I got plenty of gold. I'll be cleaning out in another couple months, and I'll bring some gold over there. I'll load up my truck and bring over some gold.
And I just recently moved, and I found more stuff that I could bring to him.
More gold?
Yeah, more gold to him. You know, but you know, I'm nervous because there were boxes that I just moved along the last 3 moves and never opened. So I'm thinking to myself, if I haven't opened it in now 4 years, do I really need what's in there?
Probably not.
Probably not, but it could have been Marty stuff, you know. I'm thinking now that maybe I shouldn't have threw that. I just threw
You
it
should
in
at least
because-
look.
because then I would have kept it all.
You think?
Yeah, I would have
Yeah.
kept it all. And you know, I don't have that much room anymore for all my stuff.
Nobody's got any room for that
No.
kind of stuff. I got way too much stuff. I need a warehouse again. Just what I need.
They tore the one warehouse down where we had the
I
shop and
know.
the studios.
The shop is gone. They tore it down.
Made it a gas station.
6,000 square foot. That was a 20,000 square foot building.
Yes, it was.
Tore it down. That was a big shop.
I have pictures of inside of that.
Do you?
Yeah, I gotta show you because
I don't know if I got them.
there was your car, my car, the Jig, and a brown van, or a dark colored van, taken from the loft.
Really?
The race shop had a loft and a game room and a jukebox.
And a loading dock.
Space Invaders background. It was good. Good old
I had a parking lot in there.
parking lot.
I had the big truck.
Yeah,
I had cars. It was a brown car. I had a couple of Enduro cars.
a high fence.
High fence.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had the hauler.
Yeah,
Had the trailer.
yeah. Fun times.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Nice
fun
place.
times.
That was good. Good
That was a
spot.
long time ago. Do you know that was over 20 years ago?
Is that really over 20 years ago?
1994, 95.
Control room shaking her head. She don't want to hear it.
Yeah,
Now she's nodding.
yeah. Because I had the yellow
That was
card then.
2003, I think, when we closed that, right?
Wow.
2003.
Yeah. I had the yellow 37 then.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I needed
And
some.
I had
like-
the other car, too, the chassis I bought for you,
Yes. Yeah.
that I wound up selling.
Yeah, that was on the Jig.
That was on the Jig, I bet it was.
Oh man! I remember when I went there. I remember the first time I go there, and you said to me, "You have tools," and I was like, "Some." Well, don't bring them here. I said, "Why?" Because at the end, this is my wrench. This is your wrench. No. Just use what's here. And you said.
Just put it back.
You said. And if there's a tool here that you need that I don't have, it hasn't been invented yet. And you were so
Or
right.
I haven't made it, because I made a lot
You
of
were
stuff.
so right. And I can remember taking my kids there. They'd be playing video games. I'd be doing stuff. And
Video games, jukebox.
yeah, music in the background for free. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
We had some fun times. But anyway,
Good stuff.
Did
No,
that-
no, the only thing we didn't have was a TV.
we didn't have a TV.
Did not have a TV.
It was music, a nice stereo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, no TV.
no TV.
It's the only thing we didn't
The
have.
No-Tell
over there.
Motel was like across the parking lot.
That's it. And you had the parts guy was on one side.
Yep.
The engine rebuilder was in the back.
Yeah. We
The
had
machine shop, right?
yeah,
It was all right there.
all right there. Anyway. Hey,
Oh, well.
The NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour opened this past weekend at Myrtle Beach, South
I heard.
Carolina. It was
Quite a trip.
you know, they showed that a picture of Wade Cole.
And that was that's the West Series.
No, that was the modified.
Southern
There was-
Series.
Yeah, there is no Southern Series now.
That's just modified tour.
Yeah, it's just, this was the deal. When they decided to run Myrtle Beach, they closed the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour. They shut it down.
Shut it down.
Boom.
So now everybody's won.
Hoping
That these guys.
that those guys would run with the northern cars.
Yeah.
And the plan was to have some southern races
As well. So that the northern guys would come down.
Exactly. Maybe Richmond, Martinsville,
Nice.
Caraway,
Right.
Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach.
Didn't happen.
Didn't
They only had Myrtle Beach. And maybe 4 or 5 guys from the South, Burt Myers, Frank Fleming, guys like that,
They
ran.
travel. Yeah.
But, that was like a Wade. Wade Cole has that old Chevy Ram truck. Lives way, way up in. He lives the next road past his neighborhood. You have upstate New York to the west.
Canada.
And Massachusetts to the north. So he's way up there, and you can't get there from here.
No.
You got to go up all these other roads. Take Route Ayuda up or Route 7, depending where you come from.
So he'd have to leave in like November to get down there.
Sometimes he takes these long trips and he breaks down on the side of the road and he just there's with his white shirt on, working on his truck on the highway, fixing. And you know what? I'm gonna say back when the Modified Tour had this tire deal, you got so many tires just for showing up, and then you got so many tires if you're finishing the time. He was the only guy on the tour making money at the time, finishing like 15th. Because he wasn't getting.
He wasn't paying for tires.
Exactly. He was using what the or you go to New Hampshire and they give you free fuel, and you go to Bristol, they give you free fuel, and then Jake Morose, he must have took out 200 gallons of fuel. He kept getting online for fuel, and like in his gas jugs, they're 22 gallons, and he'd go and get fuel, and I must have a leak or something. But anyway.
What kind of leak you got going there?
Yeah.
Light a match, we'll find it.
So anyway, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour is at Myrtle Beach, and the results kind of look like this. Not kind of, they do. Doug Colby started off at winning ways, former NASCAR Whelen Modified champion. John McKennedy was second. Jimmy Blewett running for the Gershon Motorsports. Joe Bertuccio car finished third. Patrick Emmerling came from all the way upstate New York, finished fourth. Chris Pasturak, son of Carl Pasturak, former Modified Tour contender. Anthony Osella was sixth. Burt Myers out of the Southern guys, seventh. Andy Seiss, eighth. Eric Goodale, ninth. And Frank Fleming, former NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour, rounding out the top 10. The next race for the Modified Series will be at Thompson Motorsports Park for the Icebreaker,
right.
Which was typically the first race of the year. But ever since Don Honley kind of transferred the ownership of the racetrack to his grandsons, it's become Myrtle Beach as the first race of the year. He had the first, that was in his deal. I get the first race of the year. Nice guy, Don Hogan. I'll tell you some stories about him, and all good, all funny. But anyway, we're getting the nod there that it's time to wrap. So, we got 2 minutes.
Two whole minutes.
That's like 2 sets of commercials.
That is like 2 sets of commercials. Well, I can't believe, the time is zipping right by, and it's like here we are halfway through the month already.
It is.
And it's amazing that we're, hitting the icebreaker, and track's going to start opening up.
Yeah.
So whatever you do, if you're going to be racing, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
So,
And
very important.
Check your equipment. Make
Absolutely.
sure your helmet's good. I think there's a helmet change in the weekly series, updated. I don't believe the 2005 Snells are legal anymore, depending on your racetrack. Some stick to the updated NASCAR rules, some have their own track rules. But, it's your safety. It's, if you have a $50 head, get a $50 helmet. If you care about, your head getting rattled around there, go. If you're not going to have the best in safety equipment,
It doesn't pay. Don't skimp when it comes to your safety equipment. Get the best you can afford.
And I talk
And
to
then
people,
some, even if you get somebody to give it to you as a Christmas present or something.
Yeah, your birthday's coming up, an
Yeah.
early Christmas present.
Good thing.
And I tell this story every time. When I had that bad wreck in '96, I had a decent helmet. I had a nice fire suit. And, I got a little mangled up, but if the way my head was hit by the car bumper, and then it hit the bar up here. And if I had a nasty, cheap helmet, I wouldn't be co-host on a 505 on Racing Show. So go get the best. And if they run out of the best, Go to where they have the best. Don't just say, oh, okay, Mr. Parts Guy, I'll take the second best. Get the best. Anyway, that's it for tonight. So I want to thank everybody for watching tonight, taking time out of your busy schedules. So whatever your endeavors are this week, please be safe. Please be careful. God bless you all. And we will see you next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night.